All right, so in this video, what I want to do is I want to create a Python file that's going to generate an HTML file that's going to give me a worksheet for my students, and it's going to be on two-step equations. So I'm going to create, let me just create a function here. So I'm going to create a function which is going to be create two-step. And what we'll need to do is we're going to need to pass in some different variables. So we're going to have to pass in the coefficient in front of x, and then we're going to have to pass in, let's say, a constant. So we want an equation somewhat of the form, something like, some coefficient in front of x. We'll call that C1 maybe, and we'll multiply that times x, and then we'll have another constant. We call that C2, and then that's going to be equal to some other value C3. Okay, and to do this, we also probably want plus or minus, so maybe we want some kind of sign variable there. So let's pass in to this function, let's pass in a C1, a C2, a C3, and a sign, okay? And what I want to do is I want to import a few things to help me out doing this. So I'm going to import the module random. So that's going to create some random numbers. And what I want to do is I want to return an F string here. So I'm going to return an F string where I have C1 times X, and then I have the sign, and then I have C2, and that's going to equal C3. Okay, so that's going to give it some problem to solve. Okay, so that's going to be my function, and I want to write this to a file, so I'm going to call the file F, and I want to open a file that's going to be in the same directory, so I'm going to do the dot and the forward slash, and let's call it 2-step-eq.html, and we're going to write to that file. Okay, and I probably want 10 problems, so I'm going to make a loop for I in range, and we'll go up to 10. Well, it'll stop at 9. We'll start at 0, 0, go to 9. And now what we want to do is we want to create C1, C2, and C3. So I'm going to say C1 equals random.randint. And let's do an integer between 2 and 10. And let's duplicate that. And we'll do that for C2 and C3. And let's also have the ability to have a positive or negative number for each of those. So I'm going to do C1 sign equals random.randint, and we'll just have 1 and 2, and then we'll duplicate that a few times. So I'll have C2 sign, and then C3 sign. And what we'll do is we'll say if C1 sign, if that equals 1, then what we'll do is we'll do C1 and we'll multiply it by -1. We'll do the same thing for C2 and C3. So if C2 sign, if that equals 1, we'll take C2 and we'll multiply it by -1. Likewise, if C3 sign, if that equals 1, we'll take C3 and we'll multiply that by -1. Okay, so now we have the signs changing, but we actually want the sign either plus or minus. So what we'll do is we'll create a variable. Let's call it sign type, and we'll say that's random.randint, and we'll do 1 or 2. And what we'll do here is we will say if sign type, if that equals 1, well then, and actually let's go above here, and let's create a variable called sign, and we'll just make it an empty string. And we'll say, now if sign type equals 1, then sign is going to equal a plus. And we'll say elif, or no, let's just say else, because it could equal 1 or 2. Sign is going to equal the code for minus in HTML, which is the ampersand and then minus and a semicolon. And now I think we're ready to call the function, but we should write a few things to the file first. So let's just do some HTML structure here. So we'll do f.write, and we'll write the doc type. So it's doc type HTML. And then we'll do a new line here, and we'll do the opening HTML tag with the lang equal to English, and we'll do single quotes for the English there, and then we'll do another line and a tab, and we'll start our head of the document, another line, 2 more tabs, and we'll tab in, and we'll do the meta character set. We'll set that equal to UTF-8, and then another new line, I think 2 more tabs, and we'll say meta, and we'll do name equals viewport. And let me just wrap this so we can see it easy on video. So I'm going to go here to soft wrap. Okay, and now if I'm making a lot of these, I probably should have this code just stored somewhere. So meta name equals viewport content equals width equals device dash width initial dash scale equals 1.0. We'll close out that meta tag. Have a /n and 2 tabs characters, and then we'll have the title tag and the closing title tag, and then we'll do a /n and 1 tab, and have the head of the document, a /n, 1 tab. We'll start the body, and now we want to do another /n to move in, and we'll start writing to the body. And so I think the first thing we want to do is we want to go within inside this loop, and we'll do f.write, and what we'll write is a div with a class equal to problem. Okay, and then we'll have a new line character here after that. And actually, let's open up the paragraph. And then inside the paragraph, I'll do another f.write. We're going to basically we're going to write the create 2-step problem, passing in C1, C2, C3, and the sign. And then we're going to do another f.write, and we'll close out the paragraph. We'll have a new line character, we'll close out the div, and we'll have another new line character there. Okay. And then we'll go out of the loop here, and we'll do a /t tab over. This first part won't be tabbed over, but yeah, whatever. We can format it with, we want to close the body tag. We can format it with, I'm using PyCharm here, so that'll format it nice and easy. And we got to close out the body tag, and it looks like I just need 2 slashes there because it's thinking I need to escape the slash here for the closing of the body tag. Oh, what am I doing? It's the wrong slash. There we go. Okay, so now it's closing the body tag. Let's do another /n, and we'll close the HTML tag. And I think that's good. And then we just want to close out the file here. And let's try and run this. So I'm going to go up and run it. And we exited with code 0, so that means we don't have any problems. And let's see, we got the file here. And let's take a look. Okay, now you see it didn't get spaced over for that part, but everything else got spaced over. We'll do Control-Alt-L. And it kind of format it the way JetBrains does, which doesn't indent the body and head tags. So I don't really need that. Different editors do it in different ways. So let's call this file 2-step equations, and let's open it in Firefox. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, so we have our 2-step equations here. One thing I forgot to do when I was running this is we could just type in the title here. So let's do 2-step equations. The other thing is we need to number this. So let's actually put in an index variable here, and we'll pass it in here, say IDX, and we'll have a parentheses around it, and then when we call the function, we need to add that. So we'll just call I plus 1 because I is going to start at 0. Okay, let's run this. So run it again, exit code 0, that's good. And let's go back to rewrite the file. So we see we have two-step equations, and now we have the problems numbered. I could have added the style when we typed it in. I'm just going to quickly, let's do some style here. Let's do the body. We'll have a margin of 0.5 inches. And let's do each problem class. We'll have a display of inline block. And then a width of 45%. That'll line up to the problems per row. So if we're looking here and we refresh, you see it lines it up like so. You can make the font a little bit bigger in the body. So let's make the font size 1.5 rem. And let's make the height between each problem a little bit bigger. Let's do the height of 150 pixels. Okay, and we refresh, and there we go. We've got our problems all set. So we have negative 10x minus a negative 2 equals 2. One thing we might do, and let me just copy this style here. And we can copy this into the original file, so just write it 2. If I wanted to copy it, I would do a /n. I can paste it all in there. And then I've got to fix this up quite a bit. So let's bring it back. Here, do another /n. Oops. We want that to open. Do a /n here. Do a /n here. And I'll let JetBrains do some of this formatting here. We'll just do a little bit of /nning. That's the new line character. This looks like a lot of mess, but once we get this down and formatted, it's actually be able to run nice and easy. Probably need a /n somewhere. Close out the style. Okay, so we're going to write all that. Yeah, and what I wanted was, to have parentheses around the numbers in case they are. We won't have parentheses around the first one, but the second number, in case you're subtracting a negative, it looks better if you have like a parentheses around it. And probably don't need one for the third one. So let's just run this. Finish with exit code 0, so not too bad. And you see it's not formatted right, but when I just do Control-L, JetBrains will format it really quick. Let's preview it, and we'll see we have parentheses around the negative, so that kind of takes care of that. So when you have the 3x minus a negative 4 equals negative 2, we can solve that, and I think we've pretty much created our worksheet. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Maybe this gave you some ideas if you're a math teacher creating your own worksheets with Python or some language, scripting language like it. You could do it in Ruby. Ruby, Python work pretty well. And then there's other options like, of course, JavaScript or even PHP or writing in Java even. You can create a file like this or C or C++. I think Python and Ruby are the easiest two languages to do it in. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.